Hey there, English learners. Welcome back to Glowing English, your favorite podcast for everyday English, authentic conversations, and simple listening practice.
Absolutely. This is the spot where you pick up genuine English through real-life chats, rather than staring at dull grammar textbooks. I'm Jihad.
And I'm Hina. So, Jihad, how are you doing today? Has it been a busy one?
Yeah, quite busy. I worked this morning and then hit the gym, but I'm feeling great now. What about you, Hina?
I'm doing well, though slightly tired. I stayed up pretty late last night catching a movie.
So you were perhaps wasting a little bit of time.
Maybe just a fraction, but it was a fantastic film. Anyway, today I'm thrilled because we get to chat with our listeners once again.
I feel the exact same way. It's always wonderful to sit down, converse with you, and assist people with their English journey.
Definitely. It almost feels like we're all hanging out together in one giant living room.
All right, small talk is out of the way. Let's dive right into our main subject.
Yes, before we start wasting their time, today we're tackling a crucial topic. Don't waste your time.
Exactly. Time equals life. If we throw away our time, we're essentially throwing away a piece of our lives.
Ouch, that sounds pretty heavy, but don't stress. We plan to keep things upbeat and straightforward.
We do. But right before we begin, we'd like to ask a tiny favor.
If you find yourself enjoying this broadcast, please give this episode a like, hit subscribe, and share it with a buddy who's also studying English.
Especially that specific friend who constantly claims, I don't have time to learn English, but then proceeds to spend a solid hour scrolling on their smartphone.
We all have a friend like that. Sometimes that friend is us.
Fair enough. Let's discuss what don't waste your time truly signifies. So Hina, let me ask you, to kick things off, what does wasting time mean in basic terms?
That's a solid question. Wasting time essentially means spending your hours on something that lacks importance and doesn't benefit you in any way.
I see. So it's not strictly about whether an activity is fun or boring, it's about whether it brings you actual value.
Spot on. Imagine time as water in a bottle.
Water in a bottle.
Right. You only possess a specific amount of water in there. If you spill it all over the floor, you won't be able to drink it later on. That represents wasting time.
Oh, I love that analogy. Time is like water. If I dump it on the ground, it's gone for good.
Exactly. When you spend your hours on activities that don't aid your learning, personal growth, or relaxation, you're essentially just pouring your time onto the ground.
And deep down, we usually recognize it, right? We wrap up an activity and think, why on earth did I just do that?
Precisely. That wave of regret, thinking, I could have utilized that time for something far better, is a glaring indicator that we likely wasted it.
Yeah, it's like when I promise myself I'll just watch one brief video, and fast forward 40 minutes, I'm still staring at the screen and can't even recall what I just watched.
That is incredibly common for so many of us. So now that we've nailed down the meaning, let's explore how we can prevent wasting time, especially when it comes to mastering English. Okay, perhaps I should kick things off with a little story.
Great idea. Stories always make things easier to remember.
So, one afternoon last month, I was busy on my laptop. My mind was completely drained, and I told myself, I'll just take a quick 10-minute breather.
That sounds like a solid strategy.
I collapsed onto the couch, unlocked my phone, and began watching a hilarious clip. I laughed. It was quite pleasant. Then the next video autoplayed. I figured, all right, just one more.
The legendary phrase, just one more.
Yes, just one more. Eventually, I started feeling a bit odd. I glanced at the clock, and a whole hour and 15 minutes had slipped by.
Wow, that turned into a massive 10-minute break.
It really did. And the worst part was that I didn't feel joyful afterward. I felt hollow, a bit guilty, and honestly, even more exhausted.
Yeah, that perfectly describes the sensation of time slipping away like sand trickling through your fingers. You open your hand and it's just gone.
Sand trickling through fingers. That's a fantastic visual. So after that incident, I promised myself, all right, I have to be far more intentional regarding my time.
Intentional meaning doing something deliberately and on purpose rather than just by chance, right?
Correct. And today, we'd like to pass along a few pointers that have helped us, hoping they'll help you as well.
Straightforward tips accompanied by quick stories, making them super easy to memorize. All right, Hina, hit us with the first tip.
Tip number 1, construct a tiny plan. A tiny one, not a massive one.
Yes, keep it tiny. View this plan as the GPS navigation in your vehicle.
A GPS? Okay, I'm intrigued by that.
When you fail to enter a destination into the GPS, your car can wander anywhere. You might drive in endless circles, burning through gas and completely wasting your time.
Right, you're merely driving aimlessly without a final destination.
But the moment you punch in a simple address, the GPS guides you. Turn here, keep straight, you have arrived. So a tiny plan acts just like inputting an address for your daily routine.
That makes total sense. A lot of learners declare, today I am going to improve my English, but that goal is far too big and vague.
Vague, meaning it lacks clarity.
Exactly, it's fuzzy. So as an alternative, form a tiny plan. For example, today I will memorize 3 new words, or today I will stream 10 minutes of glowing English, or even today I will read a single page of a novel. That feels much more manageable.
I actually have a brief personal anecdote for this.
Oh, do share.
Back when I began studying a foreign language, I swore to myself I will study for an entire hour every single day. It ended up being too overwhelming. I got burnt out, I missed days, and then I just felt terrible about it.
I can definitely relate to that.
So I altered my approach. I decided I'm only going to dedicate 10 minutes a day. That is it. Occasionally, I'd study longer, but my core commitment to myself remained at just 10 minutes.
And was that more effective?
Oh, vastly more effective. I was actually able to maintain my commitment. I wasn't intimidated to begin, and whenever I wrapped up, I felt a sense of accomplishment.
So the key takeaway is that a tiny plan functions as a precise little GPS address. You don't wander off track. You know exactly where you are heading.
Spot on. And knowing your destination means you squander way less time pondering, what am I supposed to do next?
That's a highly effective first tip. So what is tip number 2?
Tip number 2, capitalize on your pocket time.
Pocket time. Okay, let's hear it.
Envision time as though it were currency, like coins.
Okay, you have my attention.
Throughout your day, you possess some large coins, comparable to solid 1-hour blocks. However, you additionally have numerous tiny coins, 5 minutes here, 7 minutes there, 3 minutes elsewhere.
Ah, I get it. Sort of like the moments I spend waiting for the train, sitting in a taxi, or standing in a queue.
Precisely. A massive number of people simply toss those little coins straight into the garbage. They just mindlessly scroll and scroll and scroll.
Mm-hmm. Guilty as charged sometimes.
But if you gather up all those tiny coins, you can eventually purchase something substantial.
That's a wonderful visualization. Small coins accumulating into a huge fortune. For instance, you could quickly review your 3 new vocabulary words while waiting for the bus, tune in to 5 minutes of a podcast while scrubbing the dishes, or skim 5 sentences of a book while your coffee brews.
That seems incredibly achievable.
I actually know a friend who leveled up her English almost entirely through pocket time.
No kidding?
Yeah, she balances 2 children and a full-time career, so her schedule is jam-packed. She explained it to me like this. I never get a consecutive hour to myself, but I do get dozens of tiny minutes.
I really admire that mindset.
So she capitalized on those pockets. 5 minutes strolling to the bus stop, 10 minutes during her lunch break, 7 minutes right before dozing off. After a couple of months, she realized her comprehension had skyrocketed and her speaking was far more fluent.
Those little coins genuinely transformed into a massive treasure chest.
Exactly. If you want to stop wasting your days, begin utilizing your pocket time. Even a 5-minute window can be incredibly productive.
Perhaps our listeners can reflect right now. Where does my pocket time hide during the day?
That's an excellent prompt. All right, what's tip number 3?
Tip number 3, make learning English enjoyable.
Absolutely, because if it comes across as a chore or a punishment, you're going to sprint the other way.
Exactly. Picture yourself as a kid, and every time you attempt to play a game, somebody yells, "Do it flawlessly, no mistakes allowed." That kid is going to quit playing immediately.
Right, and education works the exact same way. Our brains despise continuous pressure. If English constantly feels burdensome and grim, your brain will just say, hard pass.
So, how do we transform English from a chore into a game? We can link English to hobbies we already adore. Take me, for instance. I'm obsessed with music.
Oh, do elaborate. I recall a specific track that really boosted my learning. I printed out the song lyrics and played the track on repeat. I highlighted unfamiliar vocabulary, I belted it out in the shower, and I did my best to mimic the vocalist's accent. It was a blast, and I absorbed a ton of information.
That's a brilliant approach. What's your strategy, Jihad?
Well, I'm a huge fan of narratives and television. I binged a miniseries in English. Initially, I kept the subtitles in my native tongue, but eventually I switched to English subtitles. After a while, I noticed I was catching plenty of dialogue without even glancing at the text.
Like achieving a tiny triumph.
Exactly. Enjoyment is crucial because it encourages you to stick with English for a longer duration without feeling like you're squandering your afternoon.
Spot on. If you're streaming an English program and picking up new phrases, you aren't merely zoning out, you are actively evolving.
Correct. So tip 3, don't strictly force yourself to grind. Make sure to play with the language too. Music, literature, video games, humorous clips with English captions, utilize them cleverly.
Now, I believe we need to address something slightly hazardous.
Yes, the perilous object resting right in your hand, the smartphone. Tip number 4 is to beware of time thieves.
Time thieves. I really favor that term.
A time thief is basically anything that snatches your hours away without giving you any positive return. For a massive chunk of the population, that culprit is social media.
Definitely. Social platforms can be delightful, but if you drop your guard, they will just take, and take. I vividly remember one night where I lounged on my bed intending to check a single text. That led to a comedy sketch, then a quick reel, then a debate in the comments section, and finally a news article. My mind was overwhelmed, yet I hadn't retained a single useful thing.
An incredibly universal scenario.
And by the time I locked my screen, I just felt drained and mildly depressed.
Right, which is why we must shield ourselves against these time thieves. How do we pull that off?
One straightforward method is establishing minor boundaries. For instance, whenever I'm in study mode, my smartphone gets banished to a different room. I vow to only browse social media after I've completed my tiny English plan, or I'll mute my alerts for a solid 60 minutes.
That's clever. It's essentially like bolting your front door when you know a burglar is wandering the neighborhood. You don't necessarily hate the burglar, but you definitely secure your property.
Yes, that's a very potent analogy. Whenever you shield your focus, you achieve far more in a fraction of the time. Consequently, you preserve your time rather than wasting it, leading to a much greater sense of mastery over your daily life.
Now, I've got a critical question, Jihad. When we'll preach don't waste your time, are we implying that people need to be grinding and studying 24/7?
No, absolutely not. This is vital to understand. Relaxing is not wasting time.
I am so relieved you clarified that.
Compare your physique and your intellect to a smartphone battery.
Okay, that's a very relatable image.
If you run your smartphone non-stop from dawn to dusk without ever plugging it into the wall, what's the outcome? It shuts down. It completely dies.
Precisely. Humans operate the exact same way. If we hustle, cram, sprint around, and refuse to pause, our internal battery hits zero.
Yes, quality sleep, moments of silence, and basic relaxation act as our charging cables.
Do you happen to have a personal story for that one?
I do. One time I attempted to hammer out a project in the dead of night. I was utterly exhausted, but I stubbornly forced myself to keep typing. I burned 2 whole hours, and the output was garbage. The next morning, fully rested, I tackled the exact same task and knocked it out in half an hour, and the quality was infinitely superior.
I am intimately familiar with that sensation.
So the ultimate secret is equilibrium.
balance.
Indeed, dedicate a portion of your time to study, a portion to your career, a portion to recreation, and a portion to recovery. A healthy dash of everything.
That sounds like a very serene approach.
Hey, now, we tossed around a few complex terms today. Perhaps we ought to dial it back and unpack them real quick.
Yes, let's embark on a tiny vocabulary tour before we wrap up. These terms are crucial if you're trying to stop throwing your time away. Initially, we brought up the word intentional.
Right. Being intentional means executing an action purposely rather than accidentally. As an illustration, I am intentional regarding my schedule. I elect to review English for 10 minutes. Or, I aim to be more intentional and halt my endless scrolling for the next hour.
After that, we encountered the term vague.
Yes, vague translates to ambiguous or lacking clarity. For example, I want to get better at English is an incredibly vague goal. Conversely, I will memorize 3 fresh terms today is sharp and not vague whatsoever.
We also dove into the concept of pocket time.
Yes. While pocket time hasn't made it into official dictionaries, it provides a fantastic mental image. It refers to those fragmented slivers of time scattered through your day, like a spare 5 or 10 minutes while you're waiting somewhere. You might state, I leverage my pocket time to listen to English audio, or I need to quit burning my pocket time on random internet clips.
Next up, we use the word distracted.
Being distracted implies an inability to concentrate because your focus keeps bouncing between multiple things. For instance, I feel incredibly distracted whenever my mobile is resting beside my textbook, or the television makes me distracted while I'm attempting to focus on my novel.
And we coined the phrase time thief. I'm quite fond of this one.
A time thief is any entity that pilfers your hours without providing any tangible benefit in return. As an example, mindless scrolling acts as a massive time thief for me. Or, I disabled my push notifications because they were acting as severe time thieves.
We additionally touched upon the word invest, as in you invested your time.
Correct. To invest signifies allocating time, funds, or energy in the present moment to secure a greater reward down the line. To illustrate, whenever I tune into Glowing English, I am investing time into my own future. Or, you certainly didn't waste this broadcast. You invested your hours into self-improvement.
We mentioned routine as well.
Yes. A routine represents the standard sequence of activities you perform daily. For example, my sunrise routine consists of waking up, brewing a pot of coffee, and tuning in to English lessons. Or, I'd like to integrate 10 minutes of literature into my bedtime routine.
And one final gorgeous term, balance.
Precisely. Balance occurs when various elements exist in a harmonious ratio, neither excessive nor insufficient. For instance, I crave a balance between my career, language studies, leisure, and sleep. Or, a thriving lifestyle revolves around balance rather than just nonstop working or nonstop partying.
If you happen to miss a term, no worries. Feel free to rewind and digest this segment at a slower pace. And for those seeking a minor challenge, select one of the words we just covered and construct an original sentence. You can formulate it mentally, or if you're feeling courageous, drop it down in the comments section.
That's essentially like dispatching your English learning brain to a friendly workout facility.
Exactly. An incredibly welcoming gym where everybody is improving in unison.
So, if a listener is tuning in and pondering, all right, all of this sounds lovely, but what actionable step should I take right now? What's our advice?
Let's offer them a few straightforward steps. All right, step 1, select one microscopic English target for today. For instance, I'm going to master 3 new vocabulary words from this very broadcast.
Step 2, pinpoint exactly when you'll execute this goal, perhaps during your pocket time on the subway, on your lunch break, or right before your head hits the pillow.
Step 3, inject a bit of fun into it. Maybe cue up a catchy song, flip on a beloved TV series, or simply replay a segment of this podcast.
Step 4, the moment you wrap up, offer yourself a compliment.
Something along the lines of, "Awesome, I utilized my time effectively," or "Fantastic job, I actually followed through on my tiny plan." That brief phrase has the power to completely shift your attitude toward education.
Absolutely. You pivot from acting as your own worst enemy to operating as your own personal coach.
I adore that phrasing, your own personal coach. All right, let's swiftly run through our tips once more to solidify them in memory.
Excellent call. Tip 1, construct a tiny plan, functioning as a daily GPS destination.
Tip 2, capitalize on pocket time, those scattered, bite-sized chronological coins throughout your day.
Tip 3, ensure English remains enjoyable. Morph your education into an engaging game rather than a brutal punishment.
Tip 4, keep your guard up against time thieves. Defend your attention span against infinite scrolling and random distractions.
Tip 5, bear in mind that unwinding is not a waste of time. It's the process of recharging your internal battery.
An absolutely stunning recap. Thank you. And we want to explicitly emphasize this. Your time is precious. Perfection isn't required. You merely have to manage your schedule marginally better day by day.
Yes, just 10 solid minutes per day can radically transform your English proficiency over the long haul.
And we have full confidence that you can achieve that. Now we turn the spotlight to you.
Yes, a quick question for the audience. What is one specific habit that drains your time? And what is one minor adjustment you plan on implementing after tuning in to this episode?
Kindly drop your responses in the comment section below. Your strategy might actually inspire a fellow student. And if you found value in this broadcast, please drop a like, hit the subscribe button, and forward this to a friend who's also striving to manage their time better.
Thank you immensely for dedicating a portion of your day to us. You certainly didn't throw it away. You invested it directly back into yourself.
Yes, we are incredibly proud of your efforts. This has been Glowing English with Hina and Jihad. Until next time, manage your time wisely and treat yourself with kindness. Farewell, everybody.
Goodbye. Stay safe.
Your growth doesn't stop here. To keep elevating your English abilities, click on the upcoming video or browse the extra content we've thoughtfully handpicked just for you.